Hello and welcome. This is Mr. Mergelman's live recorded direct instruction for week 10. So you will find your code word for your direct instruction quiz in this video today. We are talking about unusually placed subjects in sentences. So every sentence must have you could say a capital letter at the beginning. You could say an end mark at the end, so it would have a period, question mark, or an exclamation point. We're looking a little deeper than that. So every sentence must have a subject and a predicate. So sometimes over here we're going to say predicate. Sometimes we're going to say simple predicate. Sometimes we're going to say verb, but they're all kind of the same. Over here we're going to say subject or simple subject. And then sometimes we'll say noun or pronoun because nouns or pronouns make up subjects in a sentence. So let's look at an easy example of one. The dog barked. What is the subject of the sentence? Dog is the subject. Dog is doing the action. We should always ask ourselves that. What is the action that the dog is doing? Barking. The dog barked. So barked is the simple predicate or the verb or the predicate. Or let's say it's the simple predicate. Let's look at one that's a little more difficult. There is snow on the ground. A lot of times we are tempted to say there is the subject of the sentence. It's at the beginning, and that's usually where a subject is, but we are looking at unusually placed subjects today. And there is not a subject. There is not doing anything. There is actually an adverb. And when we see here in the same way, here is snow, here is also an adverb. So it is not the subject of the sentence. So is the verb. It's a linking verb. It doesn't look like much of a verb. It's a linking verb. And snow is the subject of the sentence. Snow is the first noun that's in there, and it's conjugated with is. On the ground is different. Ground is the object of a preposition, and it's in a prepositional phrase. We could rearrange it, and we could say snow is there on the ground. We wouldn't normally say that, but we could say that. And when we do that, it's a little more clear that subject is snow is the subject, is the verb, and it's in a more conventional structure there. Snow is the code word for, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Close your eyes. 10. So make sure you put that in your direct instruction quiz. I tried to make these very easy to do, so make sure that you're doing that. Okay, slideshow from the current slide. Okay, and a little helpful reminder of what snow looks like down there. Haha. Okay, into the room crept the mouse. So in this case, let's ask ourselves, who or what is doing the action? Well, the room is not. Even though room is the first noun that we see in the sentence, room is not doing the action. What is? Mouse is the subject doing the action, which is creeping. So crept is the simple predicate or the verb. Let's put it in a more conventional order. The mouse crept into the room. So why do we have the top one? Why would a writer want to use that? Well, a good answer might be that to always have conventional sentence structure, simple sentences with the subject and the verb, just like this one, can get a little bit boring. So this one makes it maybe a little more poetical, maybe a little more interesting, depending on what we're writing. Because we want to make things interesting and diverse for the reader. Fly me to the moon. This is a hard one. It's a command. It's an imperative sentence. So who is doing the action? Well, let's ask ourselves, what's the action? Fly is the action. Fly is the verb. You is the subject of this sentence. You is not in the sentence, but that is what we do when we form a command in the English language. We take you out of the sentence. Another way we will see that written sometimes is in brackets. You is the understood subject, and that's how we write it. You fly me to the moon. But it's important to remember that we have to take it out. If we put it in, it is not an imperative sentence anymore. It is a declarative sentence. And that has a different meaning. All right, so we talked about unusually placed subjects. The code word, just to review, is the word snow. Make sure you write that in the blank. And I want to reiterate that you need to do your assignments in Schoology because they are worth a lot of points. Not a lot of points, but they add up. So this is what they look like. The DI quizzes are the direct instruction quizzes. So that's what SNOW is the answer to. Sometimes they're called the live recorded session, but they're in there. You want to make sure that you do those. For Literacy F, they look like the DI quizzes, and they are for every week. Every week has them, and they're posted in there. They're really easy. They're in the folders, the weekly folders, and they're little movies. Not always in the Big Blue Button world. It's not always in there. Sometimes it's a movie that is recorded because the Big Blue Button isn't very reliable as far as being able to access them later. I want you guys to be able to access them. So they're in the weekly folders, they're movies, and they're there to do. They're super easy. Make sure you do them for Literacy F. For every other literacy, they started about week 7, and that's where they're really consistent. So make sure you go back and do them. If you don't get the credit for them, I probably have to reset something. It's kind of complicated what I have to reset, but it's in the grade book. But you can keep doing it until you get the credit. So go ahead and keep doing it until you get the credit. And then if your percentage doesn't raise, let me know, because there's a little thing I have to do. Okay, the other thing you need to do is the DQ. This is for Literacy F, and that's the discussion question. And in C and D, they're just called the discussions. And those are also worth 10 points, so they add up. And they're like journal writing. I don't want you to worry about like what we just went over, the unusually placed subjects, that kind of nitpicky grammar stuff. This is different. That's designed in the discussion questions. They're designed to make you think, to make you, to inspire you to be creative. And that's what I want you to do. Just be aware that other people can read them, so don't make them really personal. Everybody in the class can see them and hear them. You are welcome to respond to what other people write. Just make sure what you respond is respectful, that you're not critical of their ideas, but maybe that inspires you to write your own discussion question answer. Okay, that is all I have for you. The code word is SNOW, and call me if you have any questions.